Hello and happy afternoon from Carla at Carla Just Being Me. I'm home. It's freaking cold out, like double digit 30 something below zero Fahrenheit. I don't even want to think what it would look like in Celsius. Um, I put up a post asking if anybody wanted me to stream, and I got a couple of yeses, so here I am. So why don't you join me? Let me make sure YouTube is. Yeah. Oops. Is live. So I'll wait and see for a few minutes if anybody shows up. If not, oh well. That's the way life goes sometimes. Hiya, Vicky. What you doing today, Vicky? And how cold is it by you? Yeah, this morning, Merlin, who's going to be 14 in April, wanted to take a long walk. The feel like temperature was, I think, 32 below. And he got very pissed because I told him he had to go in because his pads on his paws might freeze. And the reason my lighting's different today is I have the window open by my quote unquote office. And so I'm just using the natural sunlight instead of, ow, Crystal. Yeah, I was wondering if KCC's coming on too. Hang on, I'm having to untangle Crystal from my, there we go. It's 15 degrees here. Oh, you're in a hot place, Vicky. It's minus something here. Just a minute. Let me look. Do, 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 do. I really hate that there's a lag between. Yeah, it's -4 here right now with a feel like of -22. And it's going to get colder as the day progresses. Isn't that fun? Well, I have a couple of soft sits videos that I pulled up that I was going to watch by myself, but I'll share them with you and we can watch them together. You're going to hear a little quiet until YouTube catches up with me. No, Vicky, I haven't talked to him yet today. Um, I do plan on calling him this afternoon and see what's going on between his router and computer, if they're talking enough to keep a connection so he can stream without it cutting out every few minutes. I'll put a post up on his channel and let you know what he says when I find out. And on to Sopsit with Judge Perkins. Oh, would help if I started it, wouldn't it?
Reality check, complete with a complimentary 30-day stay at the Jailhouse Law Library. This is part one of a two-part courtroom saga You don't want to miss, so buckle up and let's get started.
Did not accept your offer to contract and do not agree to these proceedings. All right, so what do you want to do?
I'm here under threat, duress, and coercion. I'd like to say for the record, my name is Jamil of the Family Lockhart.
Let's get the record established.
Hi, Wahoo. We're just hanging out, gonna watch a couple of Sobset videos. And I hope you're staying warm. I hope your back's doing good. And I haven't watched either of these videos yet, so we're all watching them together.
This is the city of Detroit versus Jamel Amir Lockhart. Appearance for the record, please, Counselor.
Rita White, House Counsel, on behalf of Mr. Jamil Lockhart.
All right, Mr. Lockhart.
No one is representing me on my behalf. I don't know that.
Well, that right there was the very first mistake. The court-appointed counsel is not the enemy. They're there to help you, to advise you, and to step in if you choose to represent yourself and things start going sideways. But instead of using that lifeline, this guy decides he knows better. And as he's about to find out the hard way, a legal education from Google University doesn't hold up in a real courtroom. Talk collapses fast under real judicial scrutiny. And the lesson that's coming is going to be both swift and painfully clear.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Lockhart.
The link
Yeah, so I am Jamil of the Family Lockhart, flesh and blood, living man, and attorney in fact for Jamil Lockhart and Legis Trust. I'm here by threat, duress, and coercion. I'm here making a special appearance, and I'm here to demand that the court prove jurisdiction over me as a live flesh and blood man. As I said, I submitted a challenge to jurisdiction. Jurisdiction must be proven and proven on the record. And then also I submitted Freedom of Information Act request for your foreign registration statement and anti-bribery statement, as well as that of prosecutor. There is no contract. Every presentment that was made to me was formally rejected and sent back to the court, which is what you have a copy of, by my notary. I do have a live witness notary who can come in and testify to that fact. Given that there is no commercial contract, no commercial agreement, I fail to see how the court has jurisdiction. Furthermore, there's been...
Okay, I want this notary is a real notary or goes along with Sobset and is a Sobset notary. That would be an interesting switch.
No, and no, there's been failure to state a claim through a verified affidavit. So if someone can prove to me how this statutory commercial court has some kind of jurisdiction over me as live flesh and blood, I think we could start there.
All right, let's slow this down and start with that wildly creative use of the phrase human being, because that's where the argument already begins to fall apart. From there, the court walks straight into Michigan Court Rule 3.100A4, which clearly places misdemeanors under the jurisdiction of Michigan's district courts. Those rules
Get a warning because I'm leaving the channel that I'm streaming from's comment in. So I'll find out after it streams and see what YG tells me.
Rules don't exist in a vacuum. They're issued under the authority of the Michigan Supreme Court, as granted by Article 6, Section 5 of the Michigan Constitution. And just to seal it shut, the 10th Amendment confirms that states retain the power to govern themselves, so long as they don't conflict with federal law. Translation: yes, this court absolutely has jurisdiction over you. Story.
Well, let's start here. You have a notice is not what you think notice should be. Notice is what is if it's properly effectuated in the court rule. And I'll certainly give you whatever hearing that you want if you file the proper motions and material to contest that. I'll give you an opportunity to be heard on that. But furthermore, what I'm looking at is I have a proof of service,
There is no proof of service that was rejected and sent back to the court. You have a copy of that.
You're not even listening. You're not even gonna listen. I listen to what you said.
Hi, Joe. Welcome to the fun. It's a cozy 74 inside. That's about what it is here, except when I have the curtain open, and at least we have sunshine today, it gets warmer. That's why I can be in a t-shirt instead of the sweatshirt I was wearing. Glad you guys all joined us today. I'm glad you're doing good. Wahoo. Now let's let this play through for a while. This is about a half-hour video.
Me?
I am listening to you. I'm just responding to you.
Please, explain how you're supposed to be listening and talking at the exact same time. Because that right there is the core problem. This brand of self-entitled courtroom chaos comes from people who don't just ignore rules, they ignore basic conversation itself. The social disconnect runs so deep that they can't stop interrupting long enough to hear why they're wrong. And if you honestly think this behavior magically starts and ends on a Zoom hearing, then I've got some imaginary right to travel paperwork I'd love to sell you. No refunds, of course.
So why don't you listen before you start making statements?
Pause. I thought you were finished.
What it isn't.
Well, go ahead.
Are you giving me permission to go ahead now, too? Right?
I assumed you were done speaking.
All right. Listen, I have an envelope with certified mail stapled to the envelope. It's got a proof of service effectuated by Nyla Corinne. I have a signed complaint here, signed by Officer Randy Randolph on 11/19/2019.
Is he here today?
And we can get him in here. Today is only date and time is set for arraignment. So you're just being arraigned, and with the arraignment purposes of your arraignment, and let's go through the whole thing. You're here a expired plate ticket. That is a civil infraction that carries $145 fine. There's an allegation that you did not have a drove while license not valid or improper. Misdemeanor offense punishable by 93 days at the maximum by 93 days in jail and or $500 in fine. On the same day and time, it was an allegation that you did not provide proper insurance. Misdemeanor, as it's written here, and that is punishable by the maximum possible penalty, 93 days in jail and or $500 in fines. There's also a warrant for your arrest for an allegation of an improper, not valid driver's license. So today is the date and time set for arraignment. You have the option of pleading guilty, not guilty, or standing mute. If you stand mute, I'll enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. What would you like to do, sir?
I am here under threat, duress, and coercion to demand
You're
that
not
this
here under threat, duress, or
prove some kind of jurisdiction. And until jurisdiction has been proven, we can go no further. I would also like to ask you, is this proceeding taking place under common law?
This proceeding is taking place in accordance to the court rules and the statutory laws of the state of Michigan.
So I am not a creature of statute. I am not under statutory law. I would demand that this proceeding take place under common law, as I am a live flesh and blood human being. No authority but that of God.
All right.
These people don't even understand what common law, statutory law, state law, state statutes, and admiralty is. They're ridiculous. You know, they try to come off as so, oh, I know everything, and they know nothing. Vicky, that's nice that you don't pay for your heat. Do you get to control it, though?
I'm not going to go back and give you another court date. I don't have any. All
I need you to do is prove jurisdiction.
You don't tell me what you need me to do, sir. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's probably not the approach you want to take with the person who literally controls your freedom. You don't tell a judge to do anything. You ask through a properly filed motion and let the process work. But instead, this guy chooses.
Hi, Captain. Oh, Rodney, you're using a new name? Oh, that's nice that you get to control your heat, Vicky. Thank you for reminding everybody to, but we don't slap the like button, we smoosh it. But if you want to slap it, go right ahead. Crystal tries to lick my screen, so.
To talk over the judge and issue demands like he's in charge of the courtroom. That kind of attitude isn't confidence. It's a fast track to a contempt finding. When you ignore basic courtroom decorum and challenge authority head on, jail isn't a surprise ending, it's the predictable result.
Just let me finish.
With all due respect, the court must be jurisdiction.
I understand that. We can get this over with quicker rather than later if you let me do my job. I don't. What I was trying to say. You're making your claim and stating your case that the court doesn't have jurisdiction over you. In order for me to properly review it and go, it's got to be done according to the court. I need a motion. And I will read that motion.
I have submitted a motion to dismiss for lack of subject matter jurisdiction.
I don't have it. I don't have it in front of me. And then I'll give you a motion.
I have a timestamped copy of it if you'd like me to show you.
All right, you got to submit it to the court. Look at
it was filed by the clerk just 2 days ago.
Okay,
I have a
well,
timestamped copy of it.
I'm going to give you another pre-trial date.
I would like to say I do not consent. The court has to prove jurisdiction.
Okay, that's fair enough, Rodney. Thanks for the warning. Oh, Jill, that's not being officially old. That's just being comfy. All right, I want to quit interrupting.
I filed that document a few days ago. Anything short of that is an admission that there is no jurisdiction and we have no further business. We have no contract.
All right, so that's in the end of his first appearance, first hearing, lesson learned, no. Instead of logging off and cutting his losses, he sticks around on the Zoom call through the entire docket, apparently just to get a few more arguments in with the judge. At that point, it's no longer confusion, it's self-sabotage. What follows is a masterclass in what not to do when you're representing yourself in court, because every extra word only digs the hole deeper.
Jamil of the Family Law Card here.
Okay, you're still. Did you have a question, sir?
None other than just stating that I do not consent to these proceedings and I do not accept the contract.
You already put that on the record.
Good.
You came back in.
I would also like to ask why this Mrs. Rita White claimed to represent me.
All right, let's go back on the record with Mr. Jamil Lockhart. How old are you, sir?
I am 27.
You're 27 years old, and you go ahead and you ask why Miss White is here to represent you. Well, first and foremost,
claim to represent me, and I have no knowledge.
I'll explain to you. First and foremost, she's the House Counsel for this evening. So for this afternoon, she represents anybody who wants her representation as far as helping them to navigate and to defend themselves.
I have never expressed that want to her.
Why do you talk over people?
Well, I assume we were having a conversation.
I am trying to have a conversation, but one's got to talk and one's got to listen.
Okay, go ahead.
You asked why Miss White said she represented you. Miss White said she represented you because she didn't know beforehand the position that you were going to take. So she's just merely
quite
doing
an assumption.
her job.
That is quite an assumption. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, by the name that you put up on there, Jamil of the Family Lockhart,
That is
I
my.
wasn't surprised I wasn't surprised the avenue that you were going to take on that. Just by
Actually
name.
recognize
But,
you
I
were.
can't- but she's not.
Hi, Loretta. Thanks for coming up and joining us. We're just running a couple of soft sit court videos. Ran a couple of errands, came home and did a couple of chores, sat down and took a 2-hour nap. Wish I could fall asleep being home all day, but because I can't really do anything, my fibromyalgia and arthritis are so bad that any steps I take, it's like my feet right now feel like they're ice cubes in a blast freezer. And when I walk, it feels like there's hot nails going through the bottom of my feet. But, you know, we all deal with something. I hope everybody else isn't feeling too much pain because of this weather. And Rodney, wearing shorts isn't that bad. Yesterday it was in the 20s here, and I got out of the car to run into the gas station to use the facilities and went without any jacket on, and it was only in the 20s.
I don't believe she's going to assume that she's going to treat you any differently than anyone else. And then you didn't want her representation, and she.
Wouldn't you agree that for future reference, it might be better
Thank you,
to
Loretta.
ascertain that information before she makes that statement?
No,
Everybody?
No.
You don't think so?
No, this just shows a complete misunderstanding of how the system actually works. The Sixth Amendment of the United States Constitution, whether you choose to use it is your decision, but the right itself is non-negotiable. And here's the part people overlook. Courts proactively appoint free counsel because thousands of defendants have no idea that help is available to them. If the system simply shrugged and let everyone fend for themselves, courtrooms would be flooded with people railroad cases. Going pro SE isn't brave or clever. It's how most people end up hurting themselves before the case even gets started.
No.
So the assumption is that everyone wants her to speak on their behalf.
Yes, until.
Is that not a
until
rash
they say-
assumption?
Until they say differently, like you did.
Okay. Well, again, this whole time, there is a motion before the court to dismiss for lack of subject matter jurisdiction.
Well, there's not a motion
There has
before the
been-
court.
What has been filed, I have a timestamp copy. I can show you that if you need. But
Okay,
your
well,
clerk
let me
timestamps filed that document.
Let me explain to you. And this is just for your information. You say that you filed it with the court and the clerk down at the window, and I wouldn't do with that. But typically you want to, when you do your filings, that's why you want to have a judge's copy, and you want to specifically have that copy handed to the judge's chambers. So we don't rely on the court clerks downstairs at the windows to make sure that these files get put into the proper place. You're not going to make.
Who do you
that
rely on for that?
You're making, and because you don't want to make that assumption that that file is going to get into the correct file. You don't want to make that assumption. Would you agree?
Who do you rely on to make sure that filed documents get into the right place, get into
The person that's filing it, yourself.
So it is not, you're telling me it's not the duty of the clerk to ensure that documents are filed in the case where the judge can view those documents?
Again, no, that's not how this works. You filed your crayon-covered motion 2 days ago, which means it likely hasn't even made it onto a judge's radar yet. Filing paperwork isn't some magical get-out-of-jail. A motion has to be processed, scheduled, and actually heard by the court. And when that happens, the prosecutor is almost certainly going to be present because they're entitled to weigh in on any decision just like you are. Court doesn't run on wishful thinking or internet myths. It runs on procedure, timing, and patience, none of which you're showing here.
Well, on my capacity,
Blame 'em, Loretta.
that document was sent to the court, it was sent to the court notary. So I do have a live witness to attest to that fact. It has also been time-stamped. That was recorded as well. I have checked all boxes when it comes to notifying court. I've also given
What
you
time's
a
dinner?
demand for your Freedom of
Wahoo.
Information Act request for
I don't
your
have
foreign
any of that.
registration statement and your anti-bribery statement. The fact that you do not have that is an issue, and it would mean that you are committing a crime, me, and holding this statutory proceeding and trying to confuse me as a live flesh and blood man, that I am a corporation beholden to the corporation which you represent. And that is my main point here today, is to tell you that I am not under your jurisdiction. I am a live flesh and blood man. You've already stated that this is all proceeding. I am under no law but common law. We have no commercial contract which would end any kind of statutory law.
Okay.
So
Sir,
I fail to see the issue. And there's also
Jill, lamb does not taste like chicken. It's very good. Yeah, it has a flavor all of its own. And yeah, I love lamb. So we usually have lamb shanks around Easter. I am not going to do that, Rodney, because with my luck, it would freeze and then land on my head.
no verified complaint with
Let
a
me stop you,
signed
sir.
affidavit.
Sir, let me, and I'll let you put that on the record. I'll let you put it on the record already. We've already done those things. So, I'm gonna end it.
What you're committing here is a fraud against the people.
At this point, what you've committed isn't a legal violation, it's a crime against common sense. You're taking up oxygen that trees and oceans work overtime to produce, all while contributing absolutely nothing of value in return. Instead of listening, learning, or adjusting course, you double down on noise and nonsense. And the more you talk, the clearer it becomes that the real problem here isn't the court, the judge, or the law. It's your complete refusal to understand any of it.
Okay,
That's
I'm
what
gonna
you're
end-
participating in.
okay. Whatever your position
And
is.
without your foreign registration statement, that's an admission that you are here as a criminal actor.
Okay, sir, I'm gonna end the hearing now. Club.
And I do not consent to any further hearing on this issue or this matter. We have no valid contract. We failed to prove jurisdiction. There is no valid claim.
All right. You've
I do
already
not
said
consent.
that, sir. I've already let you make a record, and I don't want you to mention any more because I'm gonna hold you in contempt of court. Okay? So I let you make your record.
You
I set a
can
date.
do whatever you feel like you need to do. I'm here to
set a
tell
date
you
of
that
March
I'm not under
25th,
your
sir.
jurisdiction.
All right, have a great day. And it seems that you really need an education on how this stuff works, and I'm gonna give you one today. 057. People of the state of Michigan versus Ibrahim Abiola Al-Tabassi. Defendant is charged in count 1, criminal sexual conduct, first degree, person under 13, defendant of age or older.
Okay, I'm not sure if that one is a subset, but with the content that it has and mentioning SA, I'm going to take that part of the video out because we all know that Yahoo doesn't like Yahoo. YT doesn't like that said out loud. With beef, it's called cottage pie. I call it hamburger pie, Jill, when I make it with ground beef. Wahoo says, it was so cold last night, I made an extra pot of coffee in case we lost power, so at least I'd have cold coffee this morning. Good idea, Wahoo. I made Mexican food for the last couple of days. If you went to grammar school, you'd know why. Okay, Loretta, give me an idea of when which grammar school stream it was, and I'll put the link in here for everybody. My quick. So, you know, like I said, when I make shepherd's pie with beef, I've always just called it a hamburger casserole. All right, anybody want to join me up here? I'll put the link in. There's the link if anybody wants to come on with me. God bless it. I keep getting these daggone Shamrock and Shenanigans. It's a yeah. It's a channel that does a lot of Irish music, which I enjoy. Okay. So, guys ready for another sob set? With a crust or mashed potatoes. Yes, I did know that, Wahoo. But what mine is ground beef, frozen green beans, a can of tomato soup, and then, sorry about that, I knocked over my mic. And then top it with mashed potatoes and sometimes cheese, sometimes no cheese. I've also made shepherd pies with the way that they make them for shepherds to take out in the field with, and that's in a crust. It would look similar to a panini nowadays, you know, like the half crust around it, and then you squish it together and all the meat, and oh, those are really good. KCC's not coming on today. Thank you, Vicki, for letting us know. All right. So, sob-sid number 2. I am not sure which judge this is. I'm not familiar with her. So maybe somebody in chat will know.
Extending them rather than resolving anything. And it doesn't stop there. We're actually looking at 2 separate trials in this one video, both packed with moments that show exactly how these tactics backfire in real courtrooms. So buckle up, because this one escalates fast.
Hello, sir.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. What's your name, sir?
If I can help you.
I'm Williams L.
Yeah, sure. But the defendant is identified in the docket as Michael Williams. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, that's the name they're calling me, but I am Williams L.
I understand.
Michael Williams. Okay.
No, I'm not Michael Williams. Your Honor,
Okay.
I am Williams
Okay.
L.
Well, that's where things immediately fall apart for you. You're not listed as the attorney of record for Michael Williams, which means, legally speaking, you have no standing to speak or act on his behalf. This is a familiar and often comical sovereign citizen tactic. They try to distance themselves from the name on the docket, convinced that protecting the legal identity somehow erases responsibility. The logic is simple in their minds. If they don't pick the name, the court can't connect them to the alleged crime. In reality, the court has seen this playbook countless times, and it never works.
Okay. So here's the thing, Williams L. I have to call you what's on the documents that I have present for me in in court today. We can either handle it that way, like you didn't show up to court today.
No,
So it's
Your
no
Honor, I'm
way,
just
but
letting you
that's
know
the
who Your Honor, I'm just letting you know who I am.
Okay.
I am Williams
That's fine.
L. I am not Michael Williams. They kept calling me Michael Williams. I told them who I was. I'm a sovereign, Moorish American. I'm not United States citizen, Negro, Black, or color, Your Honor.
Okay, so let me tell you, Mr. Williams, this is the last time I'm gonna say it. This is all I have for you. If you don't want to handle it under that name today, then I have to act as if you aren't present. And so that's fine, but I
You
have
say
to
what?
call
Hold
you
on.
to that document, okay?
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that, Your Honor?
If we can't handle those matters and those tickets that's on that case under that name, then that's fine. But it's gonna be as if you didn't appear before court today because I have.
Ma'am, I'm here today, ma'am.
Right, so I'm just saying when
Williams
I call those
L is here
documents,
today. I'm
Did
just
you-
letting you know
Hold
who
on,
I
Mr.
am,
Williams.
ma'am.
And that's exactly the point the court makes clear. The individual trying to distance himself with wordplay isn't the one on trial. The case is against Michael Williams, the person named in the record, regardless of whatever alternate identity he claims to separate himself from. The judge cuts through the nonsense and brings it back to reality,
hope he
asking the
doesn't
only
like it
question
either,
that
Joe.
actually matters.
He won't even,
Is the
period.
defendant physically present in the courtroom, and is he prepared to take part in his own trial? At that moment, the theatrics collapse because
Everybody. I love having meals in my freezer. Yeah, I do too, Wahoo. Depending upon what I'm cooking, or Dave cooks, whether we have enough to freeze for an additional meal or not. Because with his job, we're on the road sometimes 4 to 6 hours a day, and neither of us feel like cooking when we get home, and it's way too expensive to eat out all the time. You hate making helper meals, Wahoo, but you don't mind eating them. Okay, now I have a question for everybody. Is the level of sound on the videos okay for everyone? Because I can make it louder or I can make it softer. And my other question is, if I make a comment while the video is going, a short little comment, can you guys hear me? Or should I just be quiet while the video's on? And I don't want to keep stopping the videos and having, like, this one's 20 some minutes, taking an hour or two to get through it like a very good friend of ours does. Okay, if you guys could answer those questions. Yes, it's fine here. Great. Okay, so I know what settings to stay at is why I'm asking. Thank you all for helping me out. I really appreciate it. Okay, Rodney, I know you're going to have a smart aleck comment. Bring it on.
Yes, I do. I am Williams L.
So that's fine. When I call it on the record, I'm gonna have to call it on the record as the name on the ticket, just so you know, okay?
Okay, and I'm gonna let you know that I'm Williams L. Okay, I'm cool
That's
with
fine.
that, and I'm letting you know who I am. I'm a
Okay.
Moorish American.
Okay. Did you
Sovereign.
wanna offer? Okay, did you wanna offer for it or no? Are you gonna try and I need to kind of know where you're going. Are you gonna want a trial? Are you gonna try and wanna
No, I
offer
do not agree. I do not agree to none of this. I'm sovereign.
Okay. So if you're not gonna participate, we're just gonna act like you're not here today, and I'm going to go ahead and.
I am here today, ma'am. You seeing me right here? That's on
You
record.
have to- Listen, just because you show up doesn't mean that you're here. You have to participate, okay?
Ma'am, I'm a sovereign. I'm letting you know who I am. I'm
I was-
participating. I do
I
not
was
agree.
trying to be nice, Rodney.
That's fine. But if you don't participate, saying you're a sovereign doesn't
But that's
help.
part of what
To be
makes
fair,
the show
leaning
the
into the
show.
sovereign label doesn't do him any favors either, Your Honor. It doesn't strengthen his position or add legal weight. It just highlights what the argument is from reality. Instead of sounding informed or strategic, it comes off as recycling long debunked talking points that courts have heard 1,000 times before. At that point, the claim stops being a defense and starts sounding like background noise, because none of it changes jurisdiction, identity, or the court's authority to move forward.
I'm just letting you know who I am. That's violation of right, man.
So do you want an offer or not? That's my question.
Do I want a what?
An offer to the tickets or not?
Do I want to offer? I can't understand. You said, do I want to offer?
Offer, do you want to try and resolve this today as far as?
Yes, I do want to resolve. I asked for this case to be dismissed off lack of jurisdiction, Your Honor.
Oh, no, that's not going to happen. So you can, I'm not going to.
I'm speaking for myself. I have no attorney, so I'm speaking for myself. I asked for this case to be dismissed. You're violating my constitutional right.
How do you have constitutional rights if you're not a citizen?
I'm not a United States citizen.
So how are you entitled to constitutional rights of citizens?
It's about time someone actually cuts through the noise and brings it back to reality. Let's be clear. Fundamental human rights apply to everyone, citizens, and that absolutely includes access to the courts and due process. But that doesn't mean the system operates on personal beliefs, political feelings, or rejection of civic structure. Outside of those baseline protections, legal rights and privileges are defined by law, not ideology. Courts don't run on patriotism tests or word games. They operate on jurisdiction, statutes, and responsibility. And
Hi, Christy. Thanks for joining us today. Just so you guys know, I just texted John and I asked him if the computer and router were still having spats, and I told him if he wanted to call, I'd put him on speaker so y'all could hear his answer. Okay? Snarky says, Mom always said to her friends she'd rather raise a smartass and not a dumbass. Yeah, very true. I think all mothers feel that way. So somewhere these soft sits went, way out in left field. That's like my younger female offspring, after she got married, and her and I had an argument like 6.5 years ago, and she still refuses to speak to me or let me speak to her children. She has turned into the family's huge Karen. Yeah. It's interesting. Okay, back to the video.
no amount of rhetorical is how the legal system distinguishes between protected human rights
You're
and
welcome,
legally granted
Ricky.
civic rights.
You got to uphold to the sovereign, sir. You can't. I'm not United States citizen. I'm not Negro, black, or color. You're not under my. I'm not under your jurisdiction.
I understand, but my question to you is, if you want to rely on your constitutional right, do you have constitutional rights if you're denying your citizenship?
Yeah, because I'm an American. I'm a
I
national.
understand. I get
I'm
it,
a
but
Moorish American. I'm not United States citizen corporate. I'm a Moorish American. I'm an American national.
okay, but you're still present in this jurisdiction, right?
Okay.
I just asked for this case to be dismissed off.
Okay, I had to stop because he's on the phone. All right, you're on speaker. How you doing?
I should be nursing a hangover, but I'm a professional.
So are your computer and router still having their spat?
I'll let you know in a minute. I just rebooted again.
Okay.
I was watching something offline up until a couple of minutes ago. There's a reason I keep things local on hard drives, so that whenever shit like this happens,
Right.
I got something to entertain myself with.
Well, that's good.
Aside from the toy I was born with.
Oh. TMFI. Vicky says hi, John. Ha ha ha. Vicky says hi.
Hello.
And we have Jill, Rodney, Christy, Wahoo, and And Bill had clicked burst in, and then he hasn't shown back up. So we're wondering where he disappeared to.
Who knows?
Yeah. And just so you know, you're not going to miss.
Like I'm still having the issue.
Oh, rats. Rodney says stop rebooting, go smaller, and reshoeing. Whatever that means.
I don't know what that means either, but last night I went and bought a fifth of Fireball.
Right.
And, well, most of it's gone.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, that's the kind of night I was having.
Christy.
Or the kind of day I had. Let me put it that way. Let me rephrase that.
Gotcha. Christy, I'm doing okay, except freezing my entire body off and having a fibromyalgia flare because of the cold. How are you doing? Okay, John, I'm going to let you go. I will call you back after I'm done streaming.
All right. Well, you may as well let everybody know that tonight's live stream is very questionable.
Okay, well, everybody that's on my channel right now heard you.
Okay.
So we'll
have them spread the word too, because
yep, we will.
If they don't see me in any of the chats, this is why.
Rodney also says only 1/5. And Jill says, I couldn't handle all the tabs. I agree, Jill. I think his computer gets a little muddled. There we go, muddled by having all the tabs open.
Well, that's the thing. When I first booted up, it doesn't have any tabs open. There is absolutely no reason for this to be happening. And I don't know what component is the wireless connection. I don't even know if they sell them, as like an external thing either.
There is a router booster you can get. Oh, hi, Beverly. Thanks for coming in and joining us. All right, I'm going to let you go and get back to our soft sit court that we're watching, and I'll talk to you later.
All right. Well, if I can get this resolved, I'll get it resolved.
Okay.
And if not, I may have to just order it. A new piece, considering it seems like this one is failing.
Right. All right. Catch you later.
All right. Later, everybody.
Bye. All right, so now at least we know what's going on with John. Yeah, it is overwhelming how many windows and tabs he opens. All right. I had laundry day. Yeah. I have a day of doing nothing because my feet are hurting. All right, let's go back to our soft sit.
Jurisdiction, that's it.
And she already made that. The answer is no. If you actually intend to represent yourself and challenge jurisdiction, there's a very simple first step. You have to participate in your own trial. Courts don't entertain arguments from the sidelines or reward silence with special treatment. You don't get to opt out to be heard. If you want to make your case, this is the moment to stand up, engage, and follow the process. Otherwise, the court will move forward without you, law allows.
I don't want no attorney. I can speak for myself. I'm not a minority.
Right.
What am I doing here?
He can represent himself.
I can speak for myself. I'm speaking for myself. Y'all violate my rights. That's a sovereign.
Calling the matter of the people versus Michael Williams. This is ticket number SP12123334. Count 1, use loudspeaker without permission for unreasonable noise. Count 2, drove while license suspended. Count 3, no insurance misdemeanor. Sir, please state your name for the record.
I'm Williams L.
All right. Sir,
I don't have a title.
This is the date and time set for an arraignment on a bench warrant. Do you want to participate in these proceedings?
Yes, I'm here on special appearance. I'm just letting you know who I am.
All right, so how would you like to move forward with this matter?
I asked for this case to be dismissed off lack of jurisdiction, Your Honor.
All right, that motion has been denied. How would you like to move forward on these
Okay,
matters?
Rodney, I hope it comes back with a good number.
I just told you what I would like it, so I don't know. I'm just here on
So it's been
special appearance.
denied, so you can either participate today.
I am participating. I'm here.
Simply being in the room isn't enough. You actually have to engage. Participation is the minimum, and this moment highlights exactly why representing yourself is such a gamble. An experienced attorney would already know how to respond, when to object, and how to observe argument. Procedure, or is it anyone? Through the outcome is predictable when someone walks in overconfident and they can wing it through a legal process that doesn't bend for guesswork.
I'm speaking for myself. I have no attorney, so I'm just letting you know. I just denied, so we can keep going on.
Thanks for stopping by, Loretta. Don't do too much housework. If it's as cold by you as it is here, be lazy. Hi, Adam. How you doing? So happy you could be with us. What's happening here is another smart-ass sob sit.
I am Williams L. I'm not a United States citizen. I'm not Christian.
All right, Mr. Williams, it appears to the court as I'm making a record that he does not want to participate in these proceedings.
I told you I wanted to participate. I'm just letting you know who I am. I told you for the record.
All right, he would like to not participate in these proceedings. He has told me that he is the person known as Williams L. and not the person on these tickets, so he is not appearing on behalf of this person. This person has not made themselves available to the court today as an arraignment on the bench warrant, so these matters will stay in warrant status. Thank you so much. That concludes this hearing. Have a good day, Mr. Williams.
Well, that's certainly one way to handle it. You don't want
I love this judge and how she just bits upset.
to participate? Fine, the court is going to beg. When you refuse to engage the process, it moves on without you, and the warrants stay exactly where they are. Actions have consequences, and silence isn't a legal strategy. To his credit, he did come back the very next day to face the judge directly, one-on-one. But if anyone was expecting a redemption arc, they were disappointed. The same arguments, the same attitude, and the same outcome. Just a longer road to the exact result everyone saw coming.
Williams L.
Williams L. I'm gonna call the case as is.
Okay.
And then I'll refer to you as Williams L. if you would like, okay? Now calling the matters of the people. First is Michael Williams, also known as Williams L. This is ticket number SP 12123334. Count 1, use loudspeaker without permission or unreasonable noise. Count 2, drove while license suspended. And count 3 is no insurance misdemeanor. Sir, can you state your name for the record, please?
Williams L.
Okay. And is there another name that you have?
That's not my name. That's my title.
And what is with this title? The King of Crayons?
Okay, sir.
Williams L.
And then is that your name or your title?
My
Okay. You don't have a name at all?
no.
All right. It's my understanding that you don't want.
Okay, I guess it's like the channel I'm streaming had streamed this team's skeptic. So interesting.
An attorney, sir, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, you know you have the right to have an attorney. Matters are misdemeanor matters, and you have the right to have these matters, sir. And it's my understanding, no attorney, okay? So let me advise you of these particular matters. The court can, since they are misdemeanors, do either, I think, 90 days on one of these and up to 93 days in jail, or a maximum fine of $500. These are all have a right to have a trial, a bench or a jury trial. A bench trial is a trial before myself as the trier and finder of facts. A jury trial is a trial with 6 members of the city of Detroit who will come in here and hear the same information and make a decision based on that. These are your rights that you have right now. You also have a right to have a pretrial. What that does is that gives you time to think about it may be given to you. At this point in time, there has been an offer extended to you that if you are willing to plead to the no insurance misdemeanor, it will be reduced to an improper place. I set the fine that goes with that. You have a right to, you can also move for a motion. If you know how to file those, you can file a motion as well. So what's your pleasure at this time, sir?
I'm under common law. I'm not under statutes.
Just say he isn't under any statutes. Patient present himself, because this is about to become an educational moment for everyone in the room. Confidently argue that state laws don't apply, inviting the court to walk through step by step why they do. If he wants to turn his trial into a live seminar on Michigan statutes and jurisdiction, the judge is more than ready to do the teaching on the record.
Or codes or regulations.
So when you drive on any city street in the city of Detroit, any road in the state of Michigan, you now avail yourselves, whether you wanted to or not, to the laws and states and regulations that are governing us. So you may not have wanted to, but you did. So these are your options at this point. If you choose not to, if you were traveling, if you were driving, it's all the same.
I wasn't driving, I was never.
So if you were just in the vehicle as a passenger?
I was parked. And they was arrested. Was
You
never
sure you
driving.
don't want an attorney?
I'm under common law. I can speak for myself. I'm not a minority. I'm a sovereign.
So what option would you like today? Of those that you can have.
Ma'am, I'm a sovereign. I can't, cause I do not consent. I can't. I can't
So here's
consent.
what's gonna happen. So I want to make sure you have all the options. You can't consent to anything, so that you don't want to participate in the process. So it's just gonna go back into warrant status because one of the options, yes.
Ma'am, I'm a sovereign.
And you were in the city of Detroit on a street in a vehicle. And I understand what you just said. That's why I said,
Right.
did you want counsel?
I'm not a United States citizen.
Okay, all right. So,
Nobody have improved jurisdiction. I'm a Moor. Nobody have improved jurisdiction. I'm under common law. Statutes not to me. I'm under common law.
that's okay. And that's
Supreme Court case, Self versus Ray. Statutes don't apply to me. I'm only on common law. And if there was a crime committed, can you please show me the injured party, or I ask for this case to be dismissed off
I
right?
deny the motion for the case to be dismissed, so you have these options, or else it's just gonna remain.
And I'm under arrest because you forcing me saying you're gonna put a warrant out for my
It's
arrest.
already out there.
But
The
that's
warrant has to be
violating my
removed.
13th Amendment. You can't enslave me unless a crime's been committed.
So you
You
can't.
can't violate my
Okay, you can
constitutional
let me
rights.
finish talking. You can't claim you're sovereign and then claim rights under the Constitution. That's not how it works. No, that's not how it works.
Ma'am, I'm not a United States citizen. I have a nationality.
Okay, so that means that
You have to go by
either the laws all apply or none of them apply.
the laws do apply. What, do you have a liability? Do you have a bond? Did you swear oath to the Constitution? I would like to see that.
Yeah, I was about to say I did do that, but I don't have to show you any of that because I wasn't the arresting party. I'm just here
I'm
to
saying,
make
do
sure
you have a
that-
liability? Do you have a
Listen,
bond?
I'm not gonna argue with you. Mr.
I'm not
Williams
arguing.
L.
I'm under law.
Mr. Williams L. Those are your options. If you don't want any of those options, your one is gonna remain.
It's of all subsets or Moors, whatever the hell he wants to talk about himself. I agree, Beverly. He should be deported. I can't wait till I hope I can find when he's in the courtroom finally. Bye, Christy. No problem. Thank you very much for being here with us for a little while. I really appreciate it. Have a good one. Stay warm. Stay safe.
Warren said
You're forcing me.
nothing
You
I
can't
can
do that. Maybe can't go against the Constitution. You took an oath. You swore an oath to follow the Constitution.
I did.
That's why I need your liability bond. You have a liability bond.
No.
You don't have a liability bond. Wow, man, I'm so trouble. I'm not trying to get nobody.
Oh, really? Because this inflicted. Your refusal to participate didn't protect you. It put you deeper in trouble. Think about how simple this could have been. If you had just acknowledged your name and allowed the public defender to do his job the first time, there's a strong chance this would already be behind you. Instead of no warrants hanging over your head, this is the system. It's a clear example of how choosing theatrics over cooperation is a minor situation in a much bigger problem.
Mr. Williams, but if you don't want any of those options, the other option is that I have to leave it in warrant status.
I do not consent. Here, what warrant? That I didn't show up.
That you didn't want to choose one of these things.
I don't have to. You can't force me to, right?
You're right.
You can't. I'm asking the sheriff for your liability.
He's not a son, but he has constitutional rights. That doesn't go together. That is an oxymoron.
Go ahead and ask the sheriff for my liability. That's fine.
You took an oath, you took an oath. I'm under common law. I'm not under statutes or regulations.
Okay. Thank you. Did you get all that, Mr. Andy? Okay, fantastic. All right, that concludes hearing. Thank you so much.
I'm not Negro, black, color, record.
Okay. He said he's not black or color for the record either, okay?
No, I'm Moorish
American and he's a sovereign.
I have a nationality.
All right, we get it. And at this point, the record speaks for itself. That last remark seals how the court views the situation, and there's no confusion left about who caused this mess. That wraps up today's video, but the story isn't over. Leal has another court date coming up in about a month, and you already know we'll be there to break it all down.
Authority to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge in this court. Do you have a legal authority, nor do you have any authority through a legal document to represent?
I will for his next court appearance and bring it to you guys, because he is, like Rodney said earlier, he is so far out in left field that left field has disappeared.
Or to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge. Show it to the bailiff and he'll show it to me. Oh, apparently there's a copy here. All right, this is in the state of Tennessee, of Cheatham County and Chandler, which is filed in the wrong county because in the wrong court, because this is circuit court. You just be quiet. You go to the courthouse, it comes up. You can listen to me instead of talking, okay? This is a challenge to the standing. The Supreme Court of the United States has stated that no corporation has standing anything to man. And there's a quotation for Rundle versus Delaware Raritan Canal Company. And then it said, as well as it being a maximum law, citing certain...
The judge reviews the document the defense submitted, and it doesn't take long to see what's going on. It's packed with classic sovereign citizen buzzwords. To prove standing, claims that corporations have no authority over living men, scattered maxims of law, and random citations to irrelevant 19th century civil cases. The judge methodically explains filing is in the wrong court, cites no criminal statutes at all, and carries zero legal weight. It becomes immediately clear that this isn't a serious legal argument.
Like Beverly says, he's not a U.S. and you're going to have another glitch, guys. Hang on. Anyway, they're not U.S. citizens. How can they quote our Constitution to protect them from being tried and or convicted. Because we have to remember everybody is not guilty until it's proven in court, unless, of course, ICE picks you up, but we won't go there. You know, either you're a U.S. citizen and you can stand with the Constitution and for what the Constitution stands for, or you are not a U.S. citizen, you're a national or more, or a sovereign citizen, or whatever. And then the Constitution, you can't use it because it has nothing to do with you, in my opinion.
Latin phrases, dissimilar things ought not to be joined by a definition of black. In respondent to Cheatham County Chancery Court proved their standing to proceed against a man in any court of law. You have 15 calendar days to prove your standing or forever yield to estoppel, waiver, and
Barbara, doing today, you had a little hiccup with your heart. I think it was yesterday or maybe Thursday you told me that. So is everything going okay again for you? I certainly hope so.
and cease and desist proceeding immediately. More time is available if requested. And then this was signed by Matthew O'Neill Aldridge. Is that your signature?
That's the here.
All right. Now that Matthew Neil Aldridge has failed to appear in personally in this court for the plea day on his case, which was set for
I'm going to leave this, but I'm going to run for a minute or two.
Trial tomorrow. And as a result, you have no standing to what I know what you're trying to do is to try to use the sovereign citizen approach to this situation. And I'm simply telling you that you do not have the right to represent Matthew Neil Aldridge. If you are in fact Matthew Neil Aldridge, then you need to say so and stop this nonsense, because what you're attempting to do has no legal effect. You cannot challenge the criminal law or the jurisdiction of this court by simply filing some legal mumbo jumbo having to do with civil litigation. That has civil litigation in it. It is not a criminal case that you have cited. So it has no effect on this court regarding the criminal statutes of this court. This court is empowered under the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the state of Tennessee, and by the duly elected citizens of Cheatham County to empower and enforce the laws of the state of Tennessee. And that is what I'm going to do regarding Matthew Lynn Aldridge. Mr. Aldridge is set for today to appear in court personally on a...
At this point, the court's patience is clearly wearing thin. The judge stops dancing around the issue and spells it out plainly. He knows exactly what's happening and recognizes the sovereign citizen tactics for what they are. He warns that these arguments have zero power to halt a criminal prosecution. Jurisdiction.
So glad the medication has helped and your heart rate's back to normal and everything. That's fantastic. I was really concerned about you. And as always, all of you are in my prayers for health and all that other good stuff.
It comes directly from the U.S. and Tennessee constitutions and the authority granted by the local electorate. The message is blunt and unmistakable.
and have a good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today. Yeah, excuse me all. Beverly, I know ramen isn't the best food for high blood pressure either, but I only use like half the package. What I do is I put the noodles with just enough water to be over covering them a little bit, stick it in the microwave for 3 minutes, take it out, drain it. Then I use, not an endorsement, crock spread, country crock spread, because it's vegan approved. And I use maybe a third of the packet of whatever flavor ramen I'm eating. And it still tastes really good. Oops. Well, do you guys want me to look for a Karen or another Soapset in court, or should we call it an afternoon? There's no sound. There was no sound on the video. The whole video, Vicky. I don't know why. Hang on a minute. I'm over on YouTube right now trying to figure out what's going on. Oh. See you later, Vicky. Have a good afternoon. Stay warm, stay safe. I'll play something else. Let me find something real quick, okay? Do 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 do. All right. This is gonna be dumbest decisions people have ever made for petty revenge. I think that ought to be fun to watch. This comes from the channel Cactus, and give it a like. The thing in the yeah. The here's the link to this video. Oh. All right.
Definitely didn't get that memo. Instead of success, they
That's
chose
another
concrete,
half-hour video.
chainsaws, and financial ruin. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving deep into the world of revenge.
Love watching these dumb decisions and just all kinds of things that are so stupid that people do. If you go and look on my playlist, there's a playlist, dumb things, well, dumb things, because the G got left out somehow, people do. And I can guarantee you, if you go there, you're going to laugh your asses off.
We are talking about people who were so blindingly angry, they were willing to burn down their own lives just to annoy someone else. From a man who filled a luxury car with cement and got arrested for it, to a woman who tanked her own property value just to scare her neighbors, to a guy who literally sawed his entire life in half. These expensive, ridiculous, and absolute...
How much you... Okay, a quick poll. I don't know how to put a poll into the stream yet. You always wanted to fill up. How many people put a 1 for yes and 2 for no? Do you think that the person cutting everything in half is going through a divorce? 1 for yes, 2 for no.
Absolutely stupidest decisions people made just to get even. Hot. And the logic is broken. Let's get into it. Number 1. Are starting strong in Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah, you too. Take it easy.
Now, usually when you build a house, you want things like, I don't know, space, a living room where you can actually stretch your arm. It's not for a guy named Joseph. Joseph had a brother. And let's just say their relationship was complicated. While one brother's away serving the military, the other brother built a massive house on the land they inherited, taking up almost all the space. When Joseph came back and saw that his brother had basically stolen his inheritance, he didn't sue him. He didn't punch him. He decided to play the long game. He looked at the tiny, useless sliver of land that was left, a strip of dirt that was barely 10 feet wide, and thought, perfect. He built a house on that tiny strip. And the only reason he built it was to block the sunlight and the view of his brother's mansion behind it. That's it. That was the architectural plan. Operation Ruin My Brother's Morning Coffee. The result is the famous of Boston. At its widest point, it's about 10 feet wide. You literally have to walk sideways in some... It's like living in a hallway. But here is why this is a stupid decision. Sure, he annoyed his brother. He blocked the view. Mission accomplished. But at what cost? Joseph had to spend his own money to build that is objectively terrible to live in. He basically trapped himself in a wooden shoebox just to make sure his brother couldn't see the street. It's the ultimate cutting off your nose to spite your face. But hey, at least he won the argument, I guess. Number 2. Next up, we have a mid to fight City Hall using a giant bronze hand. This happened right here in the U.S. A man named Alan bought a house next to his wife. Now, that's already a weird move, but that's not the main story.
This should be enough.
Alan wanted to build a garage, a nice, big garage. But the local government said no. Specifically, a member of the city council blocked his permit. Most people would just appeal the decision to the shed. But Alan had FU money. So he bought the empty lot right next door to that city council member's house. He didn't build a garage there. He commissioned a massive cut bronze statue of a hand giving the middle finger. And this wasn't some small garden gnome. This thing is huge. It's about 12 feet high. And just to make sure the message, he aimed the finger directly at the council member's back porch. But Alan didn't stop him. Because what's the point of a middle finger if you can't see it at night? He installed high-powered spotlight to illuminate the statue 24/7. So when the neighbor looks out his window at 3 a.m. for a glass of water, boom! Giant bronze finger. Why is this done? Well, aside from the fact that it's incredibly petty, let's talk about the price tag. The statue reportedly cost around $7,000. Plus the cost of the land.
Looks good.
Plus the electricity bill for the spotlights. He spent the price of a decent car just to tell his neighbor he was mad. And honestly, after a week, the neighbor probably just bought some heavy curtains. So now Alan is just the guy who owns a weird statue and pays a huge electric bill. Number 3.
I wonder how many times during this video that we're going to say, what a dumb shit.
Let's fly over the pond to England, specifically the posh neighborhood in London. In these neighborhoods, people care about 2 things: drinking tea and property values. Enter a woman named Zipporah. She wanted to demolish her house and build a fancy modern mansion with a massive basement. Her neighbors were horrified. They complained to the city, they signed petitions, and they successfully blocked her construction plans. They thought they had won. They thought we protected the look of our historic street. Oh, how wrong they were. Zipporah was furious. She couldn't tear the house down, but she still owned it, and legally, she could paint it. So, late one night, she hired painters to turn the entire facade of her multi-million-dollar historic home into a circus tent. Depending on the version of the story, it was either bright red-white candy stripes or a chaotic rainbow nightmare. It looked ridiculous. It looked like a clown exploded on the front porch. The neighbors were absolutely triggered. They tried to sue her, but painting your own door isn't illegal. But here is the stupid decision part. By turning her house into an eyesore, she didn't just annoy the neighbors. She tanked the property value of the entire street, including her own house. If she ever wants to sell that place, good luck. Nobody wants to buy the clown house for £5 million. She basically set a pile of her own money on fire just to make the neighbors frown. Number 4.
I guess they don't have the same rules in England that they do here in the U.S. that you can't do something like that to a historical home. But it is funny. Where I used to live with my ex, our next door neighbors got mad at the village because they did have legal infractions. So one night, their house was gray. They painted one wall, unfortunately, it was the wall that faced our house, a hot pink. And then wrote on it with black paint, "What the fuck are you going to do now?"
Now, let's talk about gardening. Usually, gardening is relaxing. But for one guy, it was an act of war. He had a neighbor he hated. Maybe the neighbor played loud music. Maybe he stole the newspaper. We don't know. But our hero decided to plant a natural barrier between the yards. He chose bamboo. Now, if you don't know anything about bamboo, let me educate you. Bamboo is not a plant. Bamboo is a monster. It is an invasive species that grows faster than a teenager's appetite. Some see in a single day. The man planted the bamboo right along the fence line thinking, "Ha! Now I don't have to look at my neighbor." And it worked. The bamboo grew thick and tall. But bamboo doesn't respect property lines. It doesn't care about fences. It spreads underground. It's called rhizomes, are incredibly strong. They started tunneling. They went under the fence into the neighbor's yard, but they also went backwards. Within a year, the bamboo had destroyed the neighbor's garden. Victory, right? No, because the bamboo also destroyed his garden. Then the roots cracked the concrete foundation of his house. Then they grew into the pipes. Both houses ended up with massive plumbing issues. We're talking about toilets backing up, cracked driveways, and a jungle that you literally cannot kill without an excavator and harsh chemicals. He tried to annoy his neighbor, and he ended up causing tens of thousands of structural damage to his own home. Congratulations, you played yourself. Number 5. Next, we have the ultimate story of passion, rage, and a complete lack of fact-checking. This is a story about a guy who thought his girlfriend was cheating on him. He wanted to hurt her where it counts, her wallet. He knew she drove a very specific, very expensive. One day he spot parked near the house of the guy she was supposedly cheating with. The roof was down, the convertible. He sees red. He doesn't just key the car. He doesn't just slash the tires. This guy goes nuclear. He works in construction, or he has access to equipment because he drives a cement mixer up to the car. He positions the chute right over the beautiful leather interior and pulls the lever. Fills the entire car with wet, heavy concrete. The suspension collapses, ruined. The electronics are fried. It is a total loss. Basically a modern art style called anger management issues. He drives away feeling like a justicer. But here's the plot twist. Twist that makes this the dumbest decision of all time. The car didn't belong to his girlfriend. It belonged to the other guy. And wait, it gets better. It turns out he had the wrong information about the cheating, or the car was just borrowed. The details get fuzzy, but the main fact remains. He destroyed a stranger's $100,000 car. He didn't get revenge. He got a felony. The police tracked him down easily because, well, it's hard to hide a cement mixer. He was arrested, charged a car plus legal fees. He went to jail because he couldn't take 5 seconds to check a license plate. So the lesson here, if you're going to pour concrete into a car, maybe just don't. Go for a walk instead. It's cheaper. Number 6.
Adam, remember, make sure it's the right car before you pour the concrete into it. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of these videos. I watch stuff like this every day just so I have something to laugh at. So I will be more than happy to share them. Like I said, if you want to watch some that I've already watched, they're on my playlist. They're on an actual playlist. Dumb things people do. But I left the G out of things, so it's dumb thing people do. Back to the silliness.
When you sit in a tattoo artist's chair, a lot of trust in them. What they are doing on your back. A few years ago, a tattoo artist found out that his girlfriend had been cheating on him. Now, most people would just break up, maybe cry, maybe eat a tub of ice cream. But this guy, he decided to use his professional skills for evil. The girlfriend actually came into his shop completely unaware that he knew about the cheating. She wants beautiful, artistic scene from a fantasy movie tattooed on her back. He smiled and said, "Sure, babe, sit down." He works for hours. He was buzzing away, wiping
I'd
the ink,
do it for the hell of
looking
it too,
super
Adam,
focused.
just to see what it was like.
She probably thought he was creating the Mona Lisa. When he finished and she looked in the mirror, it wasn't a fantasy scene. It was a giant, steaming pile of excrement. Yes, a literal pile of poop, complete with buzzing flies permanently inked onto her spine. Now you might think, ha, that's what she gets. But let's look at the scoreboard. The girlfriend sued him, obviously, and she won. The court didn't find the poop joke very funny. The artist was hit with a lawsuit for $100,000. He lost his tattoo license. He lost his career.
Sorry, but I think that's
He
funny.
lost his reputation. So, sure, she has a terrible tattoo, which she can remove with lasers. But he is now broke, unemployed, criminal record. I'd say he's the one got dumped on. Number 7. Next up, we have the ultimate rich guy tantrum. We've all had bad
Shut up, tattoo art, shithead.
customer service. Maybe the teller was rude. Maybe they wouldn't cash a check. Usually, you just write a bad Yelp review and move on. But one man who had recently become very wealthy decided that a one-star review wasn't. He was treated poorly at a local bank branch. He was furious. So he went home, checked his bank account, and decided to go Bruce Wayne on them. He bought the building. Literally. He purchased the commercial property that the bank was renting. He became their landlord. And the first thing he did, he refused to renew their lease. He evicted the bank. He effectively fired the entire because one person was rude to him. On the surface, this sounds like a legendary win. It's the ultimate power move. But let's look at the economics here. Commercial real estate is expensive. He spent millions of dollars buying a building just to win an argument. And now, it's a building that is empty. He has to pay property taxes, maintenance, and insurance on a property that isn't generating rent. He bought a non-liquid asset just for an emotion. Unless he plans to turn that bank into a museum of petty revenge, he probably lost more money on this deal than the bank did. The bank just moved across the street. He is stuck with the mortgage. Number 8. Now for a little history lesson. Let's go back to the 1500s. We are talking about Michelangelo, one of the greatest artists in human history. He was painting The Last Judgment in the...
I realize somebody's name or word as so aggravating. But unfortunately, all of these come with AI voices.
Sistine Chapel. It's a massive fresco with hundreds of figures of art of ceremonies. He was a... He looked at the painting and complained. Word. He just waited for Biagio to leave. Then he painted Biagio into the fresco, but not up in heaven, him in hell. He painted him as Minos, judge of the underworld. He gave him that he was a fool. And just to add a little extra spice, he giant snake wrapped around him, biting him directly on the family jewels. When Biagio saw it, he ran to the Pope and begged him to make Michelangelo change it. The Pope, who apparently had a great sense of humor, reportedly Angelo could have been imprisoned, exiled, or executed for heresy. It's the greatest artistic troll in history, but man, the stakes were high. Number 9. This is an urban legend that has been confirmed in a few times, and it is the definition of cutting off your nose to spite your face. Couple is getting divorced. The wife is leaving but she is furious. She wants to leave a lasting impression. On her last day in the house, she eats a shrimp dinner. She takes the leftover shrimp tails, dips them in caviar in some versions, and stuffs them inside the hollow metal curtain rods in the living room. Then she puts the end caps back on.
You're having a problem understanding what they're saying in this video. Is it not coming through right?
A few days later, the house starts to scrub floors. He cleans the car. They can't find anything. It gets worse as the shrimp decompose. It smells like death. His friends stop visiting. He can't sleep. Eventually, the husband decides the house is cursed. He puts it on the market. But nobody wants to buy a house that smells like a zombie aquarium. He has to lower the price. And again, it's worth. This is hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here is the stupid part. The wife probably got half of the divorce. By telling you of the house, she also tanked her own share of the money. She literally lowered her own alimony or settlement check just to make him smell fish. Top, when the husband moved out, he packed up everything, including the curtain rods. He took the smell with him to his new place. Number 10. Let's talk about a classic move that people think is genius, but is actually just a way paying a fine in pennies. We see it on the news every year. A guy gets a $300 or a dispute with the DMV. He thinks, I'll show them. I'll pay in pennies that day. So he goes to the bank, 30,000 pennies. That weighs about 180 pounds, 8 grams. He loads them into wheelbarrows. He sweats. He strains his back, this metal mountain into the government office and dumps it on the counter, looking triumphant. He expects the clerk to cry. He expects the system to collapse. But here is the reality. First of all, many offices can legally refuse unrolled coins, so they tell them to leave. But even if they accept it, who is actually suffering here? The clerk is paid by the hour. They don't care. They will sit there slowly counting 1 penny at a time, taking coffee breaks, enjoying the fact that they don't have to do any real work for the next 8 hours. Meanwhile, the guy who brought the pennies, he has to wait. He has to stand there and watch the count to make sure he gets his receipt. He spent hours getting the coins, hours transporting them, hours standing in a boring government office. He wasted an entire day of his life. Hurt his back.
Is my audio when I'm talking to you cutting in and out too, or is it just the video's audio? sharing this one. I've given you all to it. I don't know why that happened. Do you want me to try another video that's like that? Or, excuse me, actually, I just noticed what time it was. I didn't realize that. It was almost 1:45 here by me, and now I know why Merlin and Crystal have been bugging me so much. They want their dinner. So I think I'm going to stop for now. I will try and figure out why that video kept crackling. Yeah, it's really got me confused because I wasn't hearing a crackle when I'm listening here on Restream, but when I went over to YouTube, I could hear it. So let me figure it out by Thursday. Let's say Friday. I might go on, if I'm up, maybe at John's time, but 9:30 instead of 9:40-ish. Okay, so you all have a great day. Thank you so much for coming and being with us all on this spur of the moment afternoon video. It helped to make my boring day a little bit more pleasant. Love and hugs to you all. Blessed be.